Thank you, Chairman Cochran and Secretary James and General Welsh. Thank you for taking time to meet with us today, and thank you for your service to our country. As you know, New Mexico has a long and proud Air Force history, and as a new member of this subcommittee, I'm particularly proud to speak on behalf of the airmen, civilians, and their families of our 3 Air Force bases in New Mexico. Like you, I'm concerned about the impacts of sequestration on our military readiness, and I have seen firsthand the strain being placed on our airmen and women after a decade of war. It is important to me that we modernize our nuclear stockpile and our nuclear enterprise and do so in a cost-effective way. I've been working hard to strengthen the capabilities of our national labs and the military as they work together to ensure that our deterrent is safe, secure, and effective. There's no room for failure in this mission. That being said, I'm also encouraged and amazed by the work being done by the Air Force. I see it at the Air Force Research Lab at Kirtland Air Force Base, where our airmen and civilians are working on cutting-edge technology. I see it at Cannon Air Force Base, where the Special Operations mission has grown by leaps and bounds and is really making progress there, and at Holloman Air Force Base, where the Air Force's F-16 pilots are being trained in the best airspace in the country. And there are numerous other examples I can cite both in New Mexico and outside. As you know, Holloman Air Force Base is currently taking on an F-16 training mission. I believe that the F-16 mission will continue to be an important mission for the Air Force, but I'm also looking towards the future and the potential for the F-35, and you've heard several senators ask about the F-35, and I'm looking forward to the F-35 basing at Holloman down the road. This budget supports increased production for the F-35. Do these production levels allow the Air Force to continue to move towards future domestic basing of the F-35, and will Holloman Air Force Base remain a candidate for such basing in the future?
Senator, absolutely. Eventually, the F-35 buy would allow for replacing every F-16 unit we have with an F-35 squadron. The next 2 iterations of basing decisions actually will occur for units that will bed down in fiscal year 22 and 23, and those will both be Air National Guard units. And so that's the next iteration of basing decisions after the one currently ongoing for the first Pacific bed down location, where Allison has been identified as the principal base, and there are a couple of reasonable alternatives. And that final decision is based on EIS results that are currently ongoing. But it will be a couple of years until we look at the next bed down because of production rates and already decided basing decisions. But the next 2 will be Air Guard. The year after that, in 2024, we'll be looking at another active unit bed down.
Yeah, thank you very much for that answer. As you know, the cleanup of the oil spill at Kirtland Air Force Base is a top priority, I know, for you and for me. Can you tell me how this budget supports Air Force environmental cleanup efforts at Kirtland, and can we have your commitment that this will remain a priority in the next fiscal year and in future budgets?
So you certainly have my commitment that it will remain a priority, and I, for one, don't have sort of budgetary figures, but please know we are putting the right people resources, and we will also put the right money resources, and I would have to yield to General Welsh if he happens to know the money, or we can get it for the record.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I don't know the detail of the money, sir, but I do know that the intention is clearly to fund this until completion. You know well, I think, that the team has been working this very well with the state, with the local communities, and there is a complete commitment to do exactly what the Air Force needs to do to resolve the situation. Yeah. But we'll get the exact numbers that are in the budget. I just don't know.
And I know, General Welsh and Secretary James, you have a top person in Washington that's on top of this, yes. And she's visiting New Mexico on a frequent basis, staying in touch with the communities. There's a lot of local concern there because, as you know, it's a big plume down in the water, and people are very worried in their neighborhoods, and I know that you're putting a top priority on this and being very aggressive. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Chairman Cochran.